Hey everyone, what's going on? Nexius here, and today we are going to be taking a look at the story behind how the Forsaken joined the Horde. So, the Forsaken joined the Horde out of nowhere pretty much. In Warcraft 3, they were on their own, the campaign ended that way, and then all of a sudden World of Warcraft releases, and the Forsaken are part of the Horde? What? So, today we are going to be taking a look at the backstory behind this. So before we get into it, I do want to give you guys a quick joke related to the World of Warcraft topic today, and it's got to do with Tirisfal Glades. I don't know why Tirisfal Glades is so popular. Everyone just seems to be dying to get in there. Get it? Because it's home to the Forsaken, they're dead? Sorry. Okay, let's go. Don't mean to offend you Forsaken players. Let's get straight to it. So the story of the Forsaken starts in Warcraft 3, The Frozen Throne. So when Arthas takes up Frostmourne to get vengeance against Mal'Ganis, he becomes one with the Scourge, and he leads the Scourge invasion in Lordaeron. Now, once Lordaeron falls to Arthas and the Scourge, now Arthas turns his eyes towards Quel'Thalas, and the reason why is because the Lich King commands Arthas to resurrect Kel'Thuzad, and the only thing powerful enough to resurrect Kel'Thuzad himself, because of how powerful he is the Sunwell. Now, towards the end of the campaign, Arthas and the Scourge are successful. Not only do they actually make it into Quel'Thalas, but they also end up taking the Sunwell, destroying it in the process to resurrect Kel'Thuzad. On top of that, Arthas kills Sylvanas.
I salute your bravery, Elf, but the chase is over.
Then I'll make my stand here, Butcher. Inara la Balore. Finish it. I deserve a clean death.
After all you've put me through, woman, the last thing I'll give you is the peace of death.
No, you wouldn't dare.
Now, Arthas was very annoyed with her because she put up such an annoying fight with him, holding him back in a lot of ways instead of making the invasion easy. He did not like this, so as punishment, he doesn't just kill her, he turns her into a Banshee, and then that's how Sylvanas becomes what she is today, which is the undead Banshee that she is. Now, here's where it gets interesting.
At last, the Alliance is finished. Once we round up the last stragglers, we should be... Not again.
It is I, the Lich King. Danger draws near the Frozen Throne. You must return to Northrend immediately. Obey!
My king, you are not well.
Take me back to the capital. I have a long journey ahead of me.
Lady Sylvanas, we are pleased that you came.
How could I not? For some reason, I no longer hear the Lich King's voice in my head. My will is my own once again. You Dreadlords seem to know why.
We've discovered that the Lich King is losing his power. As it wanes, so too does his ability to command undead such as you.
And what of King Arthas? What about his powers?
Though his runeblade Frostmourne carries powerful enchantments, Arthas's own powers will fade in time. It is inevitable.
So now we have Sylvanas with a group of undead under her control. Because Arthas went back to Northrend, she was able to gain control of some of the undead herself as a Banshee Queen. So now she has this group of undead which she calls the Forsaken. Now the reason why they're called the Forsaken is because now that Arthas is gone, Sylvanas and her Forsaken are around. They don't know what to do, they just want to live. You know how Sylvanas is. What joy is there in this torment? So now they're tormented, they're alive. They need to do something, and they looked for allies. There's no way they would survive on their own, so they looked for allies, and the alliance certainly wasn't going to work. At this point, towards the end of the Third War, the alliance saw every undead as monstrous and needed to be purged, cleansed, and killed. Not only did we have the alliance, the humans of Stormwind, we had the dwarves, the gnomes, we had everyone, but we also have the other factions as well. We had the Argent Crusade, we also had the Scarlet Crusade, so everyone's trying to kill Sylvanas, the Forsaken, and of course, rightfully, the Scourge. But the Forsaken aren't the Scourge. Sure, they're undead, but they're not actually working for them, and they don't want to kill every living thing, at least at this point in the story. So the alliance is out of the option. Every human, every alliance member is trying to purge and cleanse the undead of Lordaeron. So left with low choices, she seeks out the Horde in hopes that they will actually protect her, and it would be simply an alliance out of convenience. Unlike the previous races, the Darkspear Trolls and the Tauren of Mulgore and the Barons at that time when they joined, they all joined the Horde with Thrall and his orcs through blood and honor. They did not join the alliance out of convenience. The Darkspear Trolls were about to go extinct on the Isle, and the Tauren were about to go extinct in the Barrens from the Centaur. So the orcs saved these races, and that was what we call a blood debt, at least in the words of Cairn. So the two previous races that joined the Horde, they joined out of a blood debt, out of honor, out of respect. And the Forsaken joined the Horde out of necessity, out of convenience, so it wasn't actually the same way. So basically, what happens is some of the orcs, some of the Horde members were kind of against the undead, or Forsaken I should really say, they were kind of against the Forsaken joining at first. Some members of the Horde, especially the Tauren, were kind of in agreement of the Forsaken joining. The Tauren were really interested in the current state of the Forsaken. At this time, the Tauren were interested in finding some research and seeing how they can cure the Forsaken if possible. Now, as we know today, it's been a decade of World of Warcraft or more, and the Tauren still have not come up with a way to cleanse and reverse the effects of the undead. So that was the main reason the Forsaken joined, is out of necessity. They wanted to find allies so they would not be wiped out by humans, whether it was the Scarlet Crusade or the Argent Dawn at the time, or even the Alliance humans and dwarves who were in Lordaeron trying to cleanse that. So the Forsaken needed allies to survive. They turned to the Horde, and the Horde's like, you know what, we're all a band of misfits, we're all different culturally, and you guys seem like you're not so bad like the Scourge, you seem to have free will over yourselves. On top of that, the Tauren are interested in possibly researching and reversing your state if possible, so you know what, okay, we're joining. So that's basically how the Forsaken end up joining. It's not really in like the game, there's no cinematics, no scenarios, kind of like the allied races we have today. We don't really see that, but that's apparently how it ends up happening in the backstory. So just to quickly summarize, Sylvanas ends up taking control of undead in Lordaeron when Arthas leaves and loses control of them. After that, she now has her group of undead. She calls them the Forsaken because the humans of Lordaeron, who were wiped out by Arthas and raised, they have been forsaken by their own people, which is the humans of Stormwind. So that's basically how it ends up happening and how they call themselves Forsaken. They look for allies so they don't get wiped out by the different Paladin unities, which is Scarlet Crusade, Argent Dawn, the Alliance itself. So they look out for allies, and of course we end up with the Horde. Then eventually the Forsaken get the Blood Elves in, and we go from there. So overall, that's the story on how the Forsaken joined the Horde. It's out of necessity and out of convenience. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on my next one.